Hi, welcome to Spain in January 1783. We had some big and interesting things happen. It's been a while since I last updated, so let me just say that we have annexed Crete. We annexed Connacht, and all that is now Spain. We went to war with England. We fabricated some claims on Cornwall, Wessex, and Kent. And what really got the ball rolling was Ayrshire. After we annexed all of the Irish Isle, Ayrshire popped up as a claim randomly, and so then I fabricated claims on these three southern provinces, and the reason was so I could keep stacks here for the next war with England, should there be another war. It's 1783. We have less than 40 years left in the game. So yeah, we went to war with England and got those provinces. And in the peace deal, once again, we returned territory to Scotland, because Scotland cannot seem to keep it for themselves. We returned Aberdeen, and in doing so, this cuts the Highlands off from the rest of England. So it should be an easy target for Scotland. We finished the annexation of Burgundy. Oh my goodness, the snake swallowing the goat, man. That was it was really tough. Our Diplo power was completely in the tank for a while. Fortunately, our monarch, who had one Diplo power to his name, passed on, and our succeeding monarchs were better. Now our current one is not so great. Gabriel I is not so great. Man, this is so fascinating. Gabriel I, the Trastamara. The Trastamara dynasty is still in place in Spain. Our heir, Maria Teresa de Trastamara, a 6 admin power. Oh yeah, 633. One of the best monarchs we've had. Unfortunately, the best was the heiress, who was a 555, and she died before she came to the throne. Oh. That was when I had the king, who was like a 316, and I should have made him a general, and had him lead my army to his death, also to our victory. The big thing, though, I haven't got to it yet. After annexing Burgundy, the way was clear to annex Connacht and Crete. The way was clear to annex our vassals Bavaria, the Palatinate, and Mainz, and Ulm. However, their opinion of us was very poor. Is there a way I can turn off these armies? Somehow there is, but not sure. Okay. These provinces pretty much hated us. I don't remember. That's Brunswick. Sorry, wrong province. I don't remember whether I spoke about this, but I should probably go back and listen to my last video. So if I'm repeating, please excuse. We went to war with Austria and Milan, and in the peace, we got Milan's provinces of Venezia, Mantua, Parma. I wanted to get Cremona, but I focused on some other things instead. We were able to pry Baden, Alsace, and Lothringen loose from Austria, and we were able to free these subject states, Bavaria, the Palatinate, and Mainz, and Ulm. Well, those three, I'm sorry, Bavaria, Palatinate, and Mainz, and Bavaria became our vassal. And when it became our vassal and the big war ended, Bavaria was at war with Ulm. So we inherited that conflict, and we immediately swept through Ulm, destroyed their armies, and carpet sieged, and were able to force vassalize Ulm. And so that's how all that took place. Now, much later, I sold Pfalz to the Palatinate, thinking that it would improve because they had a claim on provinces, and I thought it would improve their opinion of us, but it didn't improve it a bit. Now, in the process of waging war against Austria, we carpet sieged most of Austria and got the war score very high. That was the Milan-Austria conflict. It was really, we were waging war against Milan, and Austria dogpiled in because HRE and all that kind of stuff. So, we were at peace, and everything was good. Everything was fine. And I was scrolling around looking at, I was really paying more attention down here in the New World than I was Castilian Brazil. That's a new state, by the way. We have a couple of Spanish provinces down here that we cannot sell or give to either of these, either New Granada or Castilian Brazil. This used to be a French province, and okay, there was a war I've left out. Two wars I've left out completely, I'm sorry. There was a war with France, and we took Calais, and we took basically all these French territories and converted them into Spanish territories, spent the admin power to core them. It wasn't much admin power. And then some years later, they spontaneously divested as Castilian Brazil. I tried to feed them. I wanted to feed them to New Granada, but it was a different, apparently a different world region. You can see the color here is different. This is, I don't know what the province is here, but the region is here, but it's different. It's a different region. So, yeah, so that happened. Pardon me. Turn the mic on, had sniffles. So we waged war against France. Before we waged war against France, let me prefix it by saying France was allied with Portugal. And I could not wage war with France without bringing Portugal into the conflict. However, we got ourselves a casus belli against Haiti. Haiti's capital province was Guantanamo. And just looking around, when I declared war, I kind of played at this to see what would happen. You can click on declare war and see what allies would be brought in before you actually commit to declaring war. And I did that, and Portugal was joined in with us as an ally against Haiti. And so I went ahead and declared war on Haiti and basically allowed the allies. I didn't do any war waging here. I just let my allies in New Granada and Florida take care of all the business down here. And Haiti had, along with Guantanamo, they had Puerto Rico and St. Thomas, and I believe they had a few other minor islands, and I don't really know what they were. So our war score immediately, very quickly, within a few years, our war score got to be very high, and we would have been able to take Guantanamo. However, a lovely and delightful thing happened, and that is because Portugal was already in war on our side against Haiti, when I went to declare war on France, it showed that Portugal would not join against us. And so that's why I went ahead and declared war on France. And basically, I took Calais, and I sent a stack of 20 troops, or actually 40 troops down here on transports, to quickly go ahead and siege these provinces, because they were far enough away from my vassals that it was going to take them a while to get there. So I had a general with high siege characteristic, and so was able to quickly take what is now Castilian Brazil, along with this province, Oiapoque, and from France. France also had some territories up here, Cosmopolitan Mexico, and it just went way up through here. So I had just split off a bunch of troops to come up to here from Castilian Brazil, from what is now Castilian Brazil. I split troops off and brought them up here, and at that point I was like, you know what, let's just peace out with France, take what we can, and that's what we did. Because while that was going on, there was another thing going on, and that was, there was actually two things going on. I noticed that the Ottomans, a long time ago, we set up as, we set up a coalition against the Ottomans, and nobody joined it. But I noticed, I was just kind of looking around to see who I could improve relations with. Syria, by the way, has survived, and you see they're friendly towards us. And the relation has gone down, but for a long time I improved relations with them. I noticed that the Hejaz had joined our coalition against the Ottomans. And I had one of those, one of those intuitions that I began to wonder if the Hejaz was about to declare war and expect us to join, which we would have to as a coalition. And I got cold feet, and I left the coalition against the Ottomans. I'm sorry, man. Because I had better and bigger fish to fry. Up here, I noticed that Holstein, they viewed us with some skepticism, but they were willing to accept vassalization. If you remember, Denmark was as well, but I think Denmark has once again disappeared. Don't worry, it'll rise again. But along with Holstein, the Hansa showed up as a possible vassal opportunity. And I thought to myself, why not improve relations with, the Holstein and the Hansa? And they're rivals with one another, but I thought, let's improve relations. And so I began setting about improving relations with the Hansa. All the while I was still working to improve Bavaria, Pfalz, Mainz, and Ulm's opinion of me, and preparing to annex them. Well, suddenly I saw the siege fires burning in this dark province of the Hansa. I clicked on it to see what was going on, and turned out Austria and their vassals Aachen and Anhalt were attacking the Hansa. And Norway had come in. So Norway and the Hansa against Austria. Now, none of Austria's allies were involved, but that was a big deal, right? So I thought, well, I was working to improve relations with the Hansa, so I thought, well, I'm going to I'm going to guarantee their independence, even though they're in the middle of the war, I'm going to guarantee their independence. And I'm going to ask them if they want to form an alliance. And they did. I mean, I was really looking for any opportunity to get back at Austria. And suddenly, in the middle of, as the Hansa was being sieged by an incredible stack of doom from Austria, they asked me to join them. And to decline that would have cost me 50 prestige. So I went ahead and so I said, yeah, we'll join you. And we had our stacks of doom prepared. And we took out Aachen, Anhalt. We came up here, and it took us quite a while, but we unsieged Hansa. Hansa had fallen. Lübeck had fallen. And we sieged it and rooted the Austrians out. And we began carpet bombing all of Austria. Now, I didn't know what the peace outcome would be, but I knew we had the war won when I realized that Austria had committed all of its troops up here. It was trying to push into Norway. It had gotten stuck here at Sjælland and Fyn. I know I'm not saying that right. Austria had a stack of, 54 here, and they had a stack in Lolland. They had 2 stacks of 84 each in Lolland. So that was like 84 times 2, 168, and they had 230,000 troops committed here. This was a stroke of incredible luck. I had a fleet of 53 heavy ships here in Normandy. I had a fleet of 53 smaller galleys, not galleys, but light ships. What do you call them? Light ships, yeah, light ships. Frigates. They're heavy frigates, but they're not the war frigates, right? These guys down here are the war frigates, 2-deckers and the 3-deckers and the war galleons. So I had 53 war galleons and 53 light galleons right here. Now they were patrolling. They were a remnant of our war against England, which had been won already. Those 3 wars, by the way, the war against England, the war against France, and the war against Haiti, were all right back to back to back. The Haiti and France wars were simultaneous, and England had just finished when we went into war against those 2. So those 2 fleets were right here. I moved them up here and got them into this channel, Storebelt. I got them all up into here, and that froze. That prevented Austria from moving their stacks of doom. They were stuck there. Now the stacks of doom were too big for Norway to destroy, but they went through several winters stuck on these small provinces which couldn't support those huge stacks. Now Lolland can support a supply limit of 59, and it was enemy territory, and so Austria's stacks just withered up here. And that was basically their entire firepower. It was an incredible tactical mistake by Austria. Although, at the time, they had taken care of Hansa of Lübeck. It was no big deal, and they were on their way to sieging and taking over all of Norway. Well, they went all in, and it was a huge mistake for them. So all the Austrian troops were stuck, and they couldn't move. It was glorious. So I just went and easily carpet sieged all of Austria down through here. And of course, Hungary had joined Hungary was a part of Austria. Partway through the battle, Polotsk Polotsk joined Austria, and apparently they had joined Austria as a vassal, a junior partner. But nobody else ever got involved in the war. It was just Austria and then Polotsk. And so we easily went through and carpet sieged. Oh, you can see all of my little, I've been rebuilding this fleet. I'm kind of worried about the Ottomans. And so I've been building some ships. Hopefully, that fleet, you need to go back. Screwed that one up. I need to protect Genoa. They're probably protecting. It's a big fleet, and they're probably Venice. Yeah, let's go with Genoa. Shouldn't have selected that, but anyway. So our second carpet bombing run on Austria was fun and easy. I mean, it was so easy, and everything fell quickly. I had generals this time that had high siege, and so I'd rotate these generals throughout these provinces, and within about 2 or 3 years, this war was over. And Austria never caused us any pain, never posed us any threat, no navy to speak of, and the only navy Austria had was down here in Istria. One of the first acts was to move our galleys up, blockade this, and then once we sieged Istria and took it, those ships were forced out of port into the waiting ranks of our galleys, and we decimated them without losing anything. So it was a devastating success against Austria. But the Hansa was in charge of war. They were the war leader. And I wondered what they were going to do. I looked at piecing out myself with Austria, but if I had pieced out, the Hansa had nothing. I mean, Austria would have been completely released. So I waited, and then Hansa, its only settlement with Austria was that Austria spit out Hungary as a sovereign state. And also Austria paid a few hundred ducats to the Hansa. And that was completely brilliant. And I thought, I was standing up and applauding. I thought that was a great move. We were up to like 87 or 89% war score. We had sieged all through. Polotsk was nothing. They did not put up a single fight against us. They never rose up against us. And we had sieged almost all of Polotsk, as well as all of the big Austro-Hungary. We'd sieged everything. There was just a few provinces remaining, and it was just a matter of time. So that's when the Hansa pieced out and forced Austria to surrender Hungary as a sovereign state. And Hungary doesn't have any. They're willing to trust us somewhat, but they don't have any great positive feelings for us. But you know what? They exist because of our assistance towards the Hansa. And I feel pretty good about that, man. I felt real good about that. We dramatically cut Austria in size, far more than if we had pieced out and just gotten a few provinces. We dramatically cut down their power and their ability to wage war. So that happened, and we brought everybody back home from the far reaches of Muscovy and Minsk, and got everybody back home. And I realized at that point that suddenly, because they'd been to war with us, it had been a successful war and glorious war, Mainz, Bavaria, the Palatinate, and Ulm were all very, very positive. And I immediately began annexing Bavaria. Shortly, I was able to increase our relations with Mainz enough to begin annexing them, as well as the Palatinate. And finally, through some subsidies, I was able to increase Ulm's opinion of us enough to begin the annexing process. So those 4 vassals we began to annex. Well, you see they're not annexed right now. There's no annexation that's happening right now. And what happened, dog? Well, what happened was Bavaria, Mainz, and the Palatinate voted us as the Holy Roman Emperor. Gabriel I of Spain is the HRE. Are you kidding me? This was so unexpected. And when it happened, wow, I just began exploring the possibilities. I've never played the HRE game. And I began exploring it. And it's fascinating, man. Coffee. Morning coffee. Looks like we have... Enacting will remove all your current imperial authority. There are 10 princes for and 6 princes against. Really? Hungary is for it? Wow. Reduce legislative. Emperor gets yearly prestige, yearly legitimacy, and core creation costs. Members get yearly prestige and yearly legitimacy. Nice. Well, I came to power with 0 authority. I found that by taking a province, let's see, let's go click on the HRE map R. I found that by taking a province and adding it to the HRE, it gives us a +1 tick. And so I went through and added 66 provinces to the HRE, and that gave us a bunch of power. I was able to use that power then and go to some of these states like Brunswick and where does it say? Did I do it with Brunswick? Maybe not. Holstein. Yeah, down at the bottom it says improved imperial relations +41. I bestowed imperial blessings on these states. Emperor actions. Bestow imperial grace. Now I haven't yet played with the Grant electorate, but you know, that's coming up. So I bestowed imperial grace. Although I did that with Brunswick, you can see it really hasn't helped too much. But with some nations, it helped to get us in a positive score. I may be able to vassal the Hansa. We'll see. We got a lot of bonuses that are dropping yearly. Yeah, I'm sending them subsidies, hoping that I'm sending them a lot of money every year. But it's not having much of effect because they're a wealthy state, because of the Hanseatic Trade League. Yeah, so how much am I sending? 990 ducats per month in subsidies. 10, so 120 ducats a year is going to the Hansa, and it's not helping. It's only helping me out plus 2.6 relation bonus per year. Yeesh. Well, so I went around bestowing imperial grace, and it helped a little bit. I was just playing around with it. You can see many of these states still think are still outraged, you know, and I'm still carrying the unlawful territory and the aggressive expansion negative modifiers with these states, and they're very, very slow. It'll take longer than we have for those negative modifiers to decay completely. Well, anyway, that's pardon me. That's a thing that happened. Excuse me. Anyway, that's a long explanation for what happened, but that's the state of Spain today, 1783. Our rival Austria. Not only was Austria essentially cut in half, Polotsk also, as you see, is no longer although they're allied with Austria, they're no longer a vassal. So I believe Polotsk has declared its independence. Yeah, it was occupied, was liberated from enemy occupation. I'm not sure if that meant from us or if it was devassaled. We're on good terms with Lithuania. All these countries like us. Lithuania, Pomerania doesn't, but Lithuania likes us. Ruthenia likes us. Crimea is friendly. Kazan. Kazan's threatened, but Crimea is friendly. Yeah. Commonwealth is friendly. Yeah, Austria hates us, of course. Novgorod. Yeah, that was the other one. Novgorod is friendly. Muscovy is friendly. Yeah. So, basically defanged, declawed, deteethed Austria, and we took over the title of HRE, even though we're not a member of the HRE. So I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm having fun with it. And, yeah. It's the state of Spain, and I don't know that things are going to change much. Portugal sent us an insult, and I'm like, what's up with that, bro? What's up with that, broski? The insult is probably have casus belli. Oh, well, it's going to be impossible to find. But anyway, my country. Wow. Somewhere we've got a CB against Portugal because they sent us an insult, a diplomatic insult. But we've been working to improve relations and get back on the good side again, you know what I mean? England, I'm okay with them surviving as a smaller state. Norway and Sweden pose no real threat. Brunswick was a target. In fact, I was planning to go to war with Brunswick, and they joined a coalition against us, and now they are an elector, and I'm having serious ideas about, you know, I'm starting to sweet talk these electors instead of fighting them. So who's in favor? Who's in favor of us? Hansa likes us. Ulm, Switzerland, Pomerania. Interesting. So, yeah. So I'm beginning to wonder if I can play little games of Hungary, yeah, and Holstein. Little games to change the electors. I don't know the rules of who would be changed. So if I promote a new elector, I don't know who would get booted. Man, I'm going to have to do that. Reform. Wow. Unite the Holy Roman Empire to one country. Wow. Wow. I wonder what would happen if I walked all the way up through here and did this. Would that be its own nation, or would it be a part of Spain? I don't have time to do it, though. But that's fascinating. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this explicitly. When I saw that I had been elected HRE by Bavaria, Mainz, and the Palatinate, I canceled the annexation of all these states, including Ulm. I canceled it. My relations are high enough to proceed, but if I go ahead and annex them, then I've lost the HRE. So, so I stopped it. As a result, our relations are, I have too many, but I made it through that terrible point of having 0 Diplo power after I finally finished annexing Burgundy, and we're in good shape with Diplo power. So, yeah. Altmark caused me a lot of problems. Before I became the HRE, I was unable to core this province because I had no borders with it. And I tried to feed it to Hansa, who was at the time my vassal, and they couldn't accept it because, again, they had no borders with it. But now, I guess because I'm the HRE, I'm able to, I was able to core it, to begin the coring process. Well, I guess that's it. Right now I've got my diplomats out, improving relations all around us with major powers who are somewhat friendly with us. And looking forward to spending the next 30-odd years in peace. Although I'd love to take Milan. Milan, once again, has grown too big for me to vassal because they took a couple of states from Switzerland. And there was a time when I was sweet-talking Switzerland. However, they joined the coalition against me, and so they're still in the coalition against me, so I quit sweet-talking them. Now you can see Milan, not only have they no allies, but they left the coalition against me. And now I'm looking at this and they have no allies. They have no allies, dog. Are we at white peace? Or, I mean, are we at truce? We're not at truce? Oh, baby. We're not at truce? Oh. You have no diplomats? Oh, Milan. Mulan, you might be about to surrender provinces to Switzerland and get vassaled. Now they still have Corfu down here. Do they have any ports? They don't have any ports. I don't even need to worry about that. So, you ship that I just started to move, you don't have to move. You just stay right where you are. The only thing I have to do is blockade Corfu. Okay. We'll get the wheels turning to possibly take out Milan. They have no allies. Fascinating. I'll go ahead and move some troops around and see what's happening. Alright, well that's it for the update. Thanks for listening in. This is just fascinating, man. Love this game. Oh wow, I have never understood EU4 as well as I'm understanding it now. Not that I'm, by any means good at it, but before when I would try to play it, it was like a headache, man. It was like I don't understand so much of it that I was way down on the learning curve. And now, on the one hand, it's not so hard, but on the other hand, it's really flexible, and the daily situation changes so fast. Things can change. Patience is a great virtue in this game. Not at all like Civ 4, Civ 5, any of the Civ series. Patience is a great virtue. Diplomacy game has to be played. Yeah. Well, it looks like Milan may be our next target of opportunity. And I'd like to do it without damaging my relations with the rest of the HRE, so we'll see. I'm not going to grant them an electorate. No way, man. Alright, they will probably not accept when I demand unlawful territory. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, man. it should be green if somebody has a province that's rightfully in the HRE, then I should be able to, if it's not in the HRE, I should be able to demand it. But I don't yet know of any. Let's look at the HRE. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like anybody has unlawful HRE territory. Oh, okay, haven't yet added that. I can't give the faults back to the HRE because I don't own it. The Platinum owns it. Earlier, I don't know if I mentioned this, but earlier I went through and removed. I would go through, I'd see the imperial power ticking up, and so I'd remove provinces until the imperial power was back to 0. That's why Austria hates me so much, man. Oh man, you see minus 172 remove provinces from the empire. Oh yeah. I was doing it just to mess with them, to remove their, to tick down their imperial authority. That's a game I can play in future, in the future. Looks like there's no province I can claim, I can require. Beautiful. Beautiful. All you have to do to add a province to the HRE is just, it has to have a adjoining border to an existing HRE province, and you just add it. Boink. Click to add. Yep, simple as that. So no wonder all the, no wonder 10 out of 16 princes approve, because never has so much land been added to the HRE at once. And I probably went overboard. I shouldn't have added so much, but all at once. But I have plenty more to add. Look at all this. I can add all this land. I believe once I add Gibraltar, I can start adding all this land to the HRE too. So, yeah, man. All right. I'll put a cut here and I'll be back.